May God's peace, mercy and blessings be upon you. My name is Muhammad, a new video and a new story. But before starting, don't forget to pray for the Prophet Muhammad. May God bless him and grant him peace. Let's continue. And it even came to the point of preventing me from entering this hospital again. I lost my job and my position because of this hospital, but I will return to discover the secret of the word death one day. Don't forget to pray for the Prophet Muhammad. May God bless him and grant him peace. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your opinions in the comments. The second story is entitled The Fairy of Graves. The events of our story begin in the summer of 1987 AD in Egypt, where there was a young man called Sammy, who was 18 years old. Sammy was a young man who loved sports very much. During the period, the fame of the fighter known as Bruce Lee was at its peak, and therefore martial arts sports were the predominant sports at that time. Sammy loves to perform strenuous exercises, and therefore Sammy had a fit, athletic body. Also in that period, young people were getting married at a relatively early age, unlike today. Therefore, Sammy was invited to attend the wedding of a friend of his. The distance was between Sammy's house and the place where the wedding will be held about 7 kilometers away. Fortunately for Sammy, there was a car designated for the family that Sammy was going to use to attend the wedding. Indeed, Sammy went to the wedding and sat in it until it ended at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning. Sammy went to his car in order to return home, and here was the problem. The car was not starting. Although Sammy tried to make the car start, he was unable to do so. In the end, Sammy decided to return home on foot. In fact, before Sammy moved from his position, he had to think a lot, as the road was rugged and he would pass a deserted place with houses, an ancient and most horrifyingly abandoned cemetery for nearly 120 years. Sammy had no other choice. Sammy walked on his way, and when he arrived at the old cemetery, there were many dogs next to it. Sammy was not afraid of dogs, but in anticipation of any attack from them, he grabbed a large piece of wood that was lying in the road. When Sammy approached the cemetery, he saw something very scary. There was a girl wearing a white uniform sitting on a chair in front of the cemetery door. Sammy began reciting some verses of the Quran and decided to walk on his way without looking at the cemetery or at this girl. As soon as Sammy became very close to the cemetery, that girl said to him, "Hello, Sammy. I have been waiting for you for a long time. Come on, sit with me for a while." Sammy panicked at these words and started running at full speed. Sammy looked behind him and found that this girl was high off the ground and flying towards him at full speed. Sammy did not stop running and continued running until he found a small mosque on the side of the road. Sammy broke the lock on the door of the mosque and entered it and sat behind the door for fear that this girl would break in. The girl said from behind the door, "I will not let you." Sammy remembered that well. After a few seconds, Sammy heard the voice of a man approaching the door of the mosque. That man was the muezzin. It was time for the dawn prayer. Sameh calmed down a little when he learned that it was actually the time for the dawn prayer and that the man outside was actually the muezzin. The muezzin entered the mosque, and when he saw Sameh in a state out of panic and fear, he said to him, "What happened to you, my son? Why do you show signs of terror and fear?" Sameh told the muezzin everything that happened to him. The muezzin asked Sameh to prepare for the dawn prayer so that he would not be late for it. After that prayer, they would go together to Sheikh Mohammed, who is a well-known sheikh in this village. Sameh had already finished the dawn prayer, and he and the muezzin of the mosque headed to Sheikh Mohammed. While Sameh and the muezzin were walking, the muezzin said to Sameh, "Listen, my son, that fairy who appeared to you near the cemetery is a fairy known to the villagers here. She is a fairy who seduces men in order to enter with her into the cemetery. In fact, no man from the cemetery returned who entered with her." When Sameh and the muezzin arrived at the house, Sheikh Mohammed was not home. Sheikh Mohammed returned a few minutes later and welcomed Sameh and the muezzin. Sameh told Sheikh Mohammed everything that had happened to him. Sheikh Mohammed asked Sameh to commit himself to reading the Quran and praying, and also pay attention to reciting the morning and evening remembrances. Sheikh Mohammed began to read verses from the Holy Quran on Sameh's body until he was sure that he was not vulnerable to being touched by this fairy. In the end, Sameh returned to his home, his heart still full of fear and terror from the horror of what he saw. Sameh did not tell anyone what had happened to him. Days and months passed, and Sameh forgot what had happened to him. He no longer read the Quran regularly, as he was accustomed to. In addition to that, he abandoned reading the supplications. On that day, while Sameh was sleeping in his bed, he suddenly woke up to the sound of someone breathing next to him. Sameh woke up and found the fairy in his room, and her appearance was very frightening and terrifying. Since that day, Sameh had disappeared and there was no trace of him anymore. Today's stories are over. I hope they terrified you. Don't forget to pray for the Prophet Muhammad. May God bless him and grant him peace. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your opinions in the comments. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God.